This is Talkin' Mule Deer with your hosts Steve Belinda and Jodi Stemler. Talkin' Mule Deer takes you on a journey to learn more about the Mule Deer Foundation, mule deer and black-tailed deer biology and management, tips and tactics for hunting, conservation issues, and even features some of our corporate and celebrity partners. Now, let's start talking mule deer. Hi, it's Jodi Stemler. We're here again with the Mule Deer Foundation podcasts at Western Hunting and Conservation Expo, and we've got two very, very special guests with us today. We've got Adam Weatherby and his wife, Brenda. Adam, Brenda, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
And, of course, Steve is back with us. He
don't forget about me and Jodi.
I'm not going to forget about you, but we kicked him out when it was girls only earlier today, so we're inviting him back now, but... So, Adam, you are now a board member for the Mule Deer Foundation. Why don't you start off, though, and tell us, obviously, everybody who's listening to this probably knows the Weatherby name, but give us a little history about your family, your company, and yourself as a hunter and an outdoorsman.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we've been making rifles, shotguns, and ammo for 73 years. As we like to say, we've been inspiring the dreams of hunters and shooters since 1945. So my grandpa started the company in Southern California in the 40s, and kind of on the gist of really pushing high velocity bullets, and that's kind of what we've been known at is having kind of the fastest thing around, and we made some pretty guns around it, now some functional guns around it. And here we are 73 years later. I'm the third generation, so my grandfather passed away in the 80s. My dad ran it for 3 or 4 decades, and now I'm at the helm of it now, along with my beautiful wife over here. Correct, a little over a year ago. So a year ago, SHOT Show, we made the big announcement I'm taking over, and then another year was the other one that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, the other big news.
Now, before your grandfather started the company, was he working for other companies, or was he an engineer? Or?
Nope, he was a poor farmer from Kansas that had nothing. Zero.
Wow.
Nothing. Moved out to L.A., started selling insurance, but he'd been like shooting crows and trapping and just got a love for the outdoors in Kansas, and had been invited by some people he networked with on some hunts, and then kind of got into hand loading, and then became a wildcatter in his garage.
Oh, wow.
That's how it started. Yep. So he
And it started just with the ammunition at first, and then he brought
Correct.
in... Right, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. So, obviously, I mean, with a name like Weatherby and your company, I suspect you were born and raised in the outdoors practically. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, we were. I mean, because we've been in California, it's not as if we, we're in Utah where we're at now, or right. Better access to it. But, yeah, definitely grew up hunting and shooting. Kind of all of us did, more so than Brenda over here, who grew up in a different family and then married into the family. And
then wondered, what the heck?
Exactly.
Right, Brenda? You and I were talking earlier. You only started hunting about 3 years ago, right?
Yes. I've been part of the Weatherby family for 22, but those first couple, decades, really, there wasn't a lot of women hunting. I didn't see that, being modeled as much. And I wasn't from a family that did a lot of outdoors things. We were more the athletic, doing all kinds of sports. But 3 years ago, my daughter wanted to get her hunter safety, and I said, I'll do it with you. And that kind of fell in line with a new women's rifle that we came out with. And so that rifle gave me so many opportunities to expand my hunting journey. So it's been wonderful.
Hunted in Africa, and she's shot bear and elk and all sorts of things. So she jumped into it like she always does. She jumped into it kind of feet first.
It sounds like a marriage of country and rock and roll, to steal a little bit from Donnie and Marie.
Yeah. Well, and the gun you referenced is the Camilla. The Vanguard Camilla came out about 3 years ago, right?
Yep, 3 years ago.
Named after my grandma.
I was going to say, right? That's named after your grandma. So,
yeah.
And now this year, I was at SHOT Show, and you guys are launching the Mark V Camilla. So the Camilla in the Mark V version, both in an incredibly beautiful wood stock and also in a Sitka subalpine pattern too, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I have to tell you, I bought a Weatherby off the shelf. Someone had ordered. Was at our local gun store in our small town and kept coming down in price. I picked up 25-06. I shoot a Weatherby caliber Remington gun.
Okay.
But this was the first Weatherby, and I'll tell you what, I've fallen in love with that gun. Cool. It is, off the shelf. It's a lower end model, but that thing is it's an awesome gun. And, it's my go-to gun because my daughter now is shooting my 243. So, I had to go up a little bit.
That's cool.
Well, and I know it's in addition to the women's line, you also did a carbon mark, right, this year?
Yep,
carbon
just launched that.
So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, Proof Research makes those barrels up in Montana for us and put that on our Mark V. And it's it's been widely received. We just introduced it a couple weeks ago in Vegas at SHOT Show, so anxious to see how that does. But it's been it's been real neat to see. I think that as technology grows, it's neat to kind of see it come into the firearms industry and what it does. And really, kind of the main benefit is the barrel just doesn't heat up, very much. So the groups, tend to stay real tight. So we're having good luck with that so far too. So.
Excellent. Yep. Do you have anything new in your shotgun line?
We just an over and under sporting model just came out with, so that's brand new this year. So
is that the gun that I kept seeing those pictures of you guys hunting with your family and your beautiful Brittany, which I also
that'd have been the field gun. This one's sporting more for clays.
Yeah. It's a clays gun. Yep.
But we probably hunted with the field edition
Element.
of that, or the Element, or inertia operated semi-auto.
Oh yeah.
Which we enjoy shooting. So
I bet.
we just enjoy getting outdoors. Even as a family, it's been neat. Their kids, they're both in high school, and so having them. Shoot and hunt, get outdoors with us has been totally fun.
Very good. So you said your daughter you guys did your hunter education together 3 years ago. Is your daughter still getting out and enjoying it as well?
She loves it. Yeah, excellent. And being in California, the guys at school, she always says, "Oh my gosh, Mom, some guy came up and was trying to impress me with their gun knowledge. He knew nothing. He didn't know what he was talking about." So it's great to have a tough girl that can come out and she's hike and hunt with the best of them.
She shot a muley, antelope, California blacktail, quite a bit of things. So she's gotten right into it.
Good for you.
Shot a muley in Wyoming 16. She did.
She did.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Very cool. Good for you.
Now you guys just announced a big move.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. We, after being in California for 73 years, decided we'd had enough and wanted to head out to another state, looked at a bunch of them, and narrowed down Wyoming, and then particularly the Sheridan, Wyoming area there, and the north, kind of central northeastern part, right up next to the Bighorns, and announced that at SHOT Show along with Governor Meade and his team of people. Been unbelievable to deal with them. I mean, they've just been phenomenal. Just really received us with open arms.
Slightly different environment in
a little
the
bit,
States.
little bit,
Definitely.
So,
well, having strong ties to Wyoming and loving the Sheridan area, I think you're going to love it there. I mean, you're going to fall in love with the largest square in the Union, and the hunting and opportunities in and around Sheridan across the state are pretty awesome. So, we're really looking forward to you coming to the state, and, we wish you all the best on that venture. And don't call me. I don't help people move anymore.
So what's the schedule for your move out there, and what aspects of the business are going to be out there?
In the spring, we're going to be having kind of a slow transition of some of our office personnel with accounting and sales and marketing, that kind of thing. Ourselves will be moving there in June after our kids get done with school.
Okay.
And then there'll be kind of a gradual ramp up through March of 2019 when our facility will be complete.
Okay. And where in Sheridan is that? I know it reasonably well. As we've talked already, I bought my dog.
North side.
It's right off the north part. They're building the northernmost
the new interchange
that they're building, and
that's
it
right
will be
there with 25 and or 90.
No, it's north of that.
Okay.
It's the first.
If you're coming from Montana,
yeah.
It's welcome to Wyoming, basically,
Right.
and welcome to Sheridan. And literally, as you see that first thing there, after you come down from Montana, our building will be right on the right. So you'll see welcome to Wyoming and Sheridan, and you'll see the Weatherby headquarters.
With the Tongue River right out the front door.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Stunning location. I love Sheridan. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and they're lucky to have you guys there. Are most of your people able to move out with you guys, or is that? I mean, it's probably hard because
it's a hard transition for people, especially those who have been in California all their lives and family ties,
Sure.
or we are in a rural, very ranching type of community, so sometimes that isn't possible for people. So we're looking at maybe a third will come with us. We're hoping. Still, some people are still trying to decide.
Yeah.
Weigh the cost.
And a lot of them haven't visited, and they're used to, it's in the 70s most of the time right now where they're at, and it was below zero yesterday. So it's not the best time for them to go visit to decide if they want to move there.
True.
So.
And Sheridan, actually, we were talking about that earlier, is somewhat of a little bit of a warmer part, or not? It's a little bit moderate.
Lowest town in the state that has a population over about 2,000
yes.
people.
Yeah, so.
Which was one of the factors. So they called it the banana belt of Wyoming, but I haven't seen any banana trees there yet.
But you can grow corn there, and you can't grow corn in most of the state. So
there you go.
And you can hunt turkeys, mule deer, pronghorn, right? I mean,
grouse.
5 minutes from town.
Yeah,
it's awesome spot.
Yeah. So
and you've got the king ropes there too. So they've been there forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's hard to make a decision like that, to pick up, and you know that you're going to lose some of your good people, and understanding that, but sometimes you have to do that.
We've got a lot of applicants and a lot of folks in Sheridan and really from around the country that are excited about being a part of the new Weatherby, Wyoming Weatherby. So it's short term. It's going to be very hard because some people won't transition with us, and that'll be difficult. Long term, we know we're going to be able to recruit and retain some really good talent. So
excellent. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
You were added to the Mule Deer Foundation board this year. We're really happy to have you on board. Tell me, obviously Mule Deer are a big part of your life as well. Tell me about why you have wanted to become engaged with Mule Deer Foundation at a higher level.
Sure. I think for a lot of reasons. I mean, we're as far as Weatherby Incorporated, we support many conservation organizations, Mule Deer being one of them, and of course a lot of other ones as well. And we enjoy what each one does in their own space and all those things. I think with MDF, we resonate a lot. We're a Western. I mean, that's why even when we looked at states, we didn't look at going east of the Rockies. That's where most gun companies are. That's not Weatherby. This is kind of our fit.
Company.
Mule Deer, blacktail, obviously us from California, growing up blacktail hunting there. And, with Mule Deer, I mean, we resonate with that kind of the long distance, and we're kind of, a lot of long distance shooting type of stuff. So just, and then when you're here at this show, I mean, I tell Brenda it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, expos to be at, because we feel like everybody comes in the booth, and I mean, it's one story after the next of hunting with their Weatherby. It's just our people. We just resonate with them, and the people are so great. So for an organization, there's a lot of things. Then you throw in the conservation part, and obviously, what Mule Deer Foundation's been doing, the growth that we've experienced, that Mule Deer Foundation's experienced the last few years, that's evident both at this expo as well as, in chapter growth, and then really in initiatives and projects that are around. It's really impressed me. If I'm going to join something, typically, whether it's my business or whether it's sitting on the board, I want to be a part of seeing something grow and change, really for the better. And I think Mule Deer Foundation really is experiencing a lot of that growth right now, and it's exciting for me to be a small part of that in just a small way to join the national board. Just had my first board meeting 2 days ago here. And I made it through. They didn't kick me off.
And you stayed on it.
Yeah.
I was going to say you stayed on it, and they kicked you, and you didn't decide to bail either, huh?
Now, Brenda, how do you feel about him joining another board? I mean, I imagine you guys' life's pretty hectic with running the company. And
with the move, it was actually a tough decision because of the move, knowing what it's going to take out, time-wise.
Yeah, we have to be really, choosy about what we say yes and what we say no to. But we kind of came to a time where he had a small gap, and I said, and he had quite a few opportunities this last year, and so he just picked. I said, you can do one of them. And so besides business and family, and so he just said, I really think this is where we should be and giving our time, for this time. So
and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to having you on the board and seeing the Weatherby name. And again, I know I have walked the floor a number of times and been past your booth, and we've had a couple of chances to talk, and it's always one of the most popular booths here. So clearly it's a successful show for you as well, which is a good thing. And that's the growth of the WHCE. You've seen it from a vendor side.
Sure.
And actually, we haven't talked to a whole bunch of vendors yet. Tell me, how long have you been exhibiting here?
Several years,
So and the growth I've seen in the 4 or 5 years that I've been coming here every year, it's impressive.
It is. We've certainly seen that. Just the quality of the show too, the quality of the vendors. People's space growing. I mean, every year I know the waiting list is very large. And just the quality of folks that come in. And we get to see that because we do have a middle to higher end product. And so we see the folks that are coming in, they're serious. They're not just coming by for a free hat or a giveaway. A lot of shows you go to, it's, that sort of thing. They're coming in. I mean, in our case, they're wanting to, I just got done talking to a guy. He has a 300 Weatherby, a 3378 Weatherby, but he really likes this new 6.5 300. So, I mean, he's walking in already these are serious hunters, and he was talking about the terrain he hunts in and the public lands he hunts in and all these things, and the mule deer and the elk. And I mean, these are people that are coming that are serious about what they're doing.
Right.
They're not just looky-loos that want to come and get some popcorn and walk around and, buy a little something. These are very passionate hunters.
Now, we're hearing that 6.5 is a pretty popular gun right now, high demand. Tell us about that. I mean, why do folks want it so much?
The 6.5 since the introduction of the Creedmoor, and really in the past 3 or 4 years has had just a lot of craze and a lot of publicity. And the 6.5 300 is the fastest 6.5 on the planet, and so people like speed and want to have the fastest, and so it shoots flat. So fast,
could you use
flat,
that for
and far.
elk?
Oh yeah, Brenda took her first elk with it a couple years ago.
Oh wow!
As a matter
Where
of
was
fact,
that at,
one
Brenda?
shot actually.
Idaho.
Nice.
Yeah, we were in the Selway. That was the longest 5 days of my life. It was awesome. I think we got lost 3 different times.
Was it a horseback hunt or?
Mules,
yes.
13 plus miles in.
Yeah,
land.
and it was great
That's
though.
amazing.
It's kind of, we had done some hunts separately, and we finally looked at each other. We're like, gosh, we haven't hunted together, and so we just called up a outfitter and got some over-the-counter tags and just went, the 2 of us. We packed up in my Subaru and literally drove across the country. Got
That's
there,
fun.
and then on the way back, we had 2 racks and coolers, and we barely fit it in
In your Subaru.
in my Subaru. Yeah, so it was a great time. It was wonderful.
Most Idaho straight up and down. I
Yep.
used to fight a lot of fire there, loading chainsaws up and down, and
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know if I could do that now. So
It's
Yeah.
steep
It's tough
It was a
country.
great time.
It
Yep,
is.
great time.
and
For
thick.
sure. So I was going to go back real quick to the Hunt Expo. I think your observation is a really good one. Going to SHOT Show, knowing who's there, the companies that are here are bringing most of the same people that are at SHOT Show. You're talking about the owners or the high-level people in the company who know their product. It's not just your local sales guy. These people know it. So you're going to come here. You've done your own homework on the product you're already looking to buy. But then you can talk right directly to the people who know that gun or know that camo, that apparel line or whatever it is, and get all the best information. I mean, that's a huge thing.
Oh, there's an announcement going
And there's
on.
an
at the
announcement
Expo.
going on. Wow, you gotta love that.
Good thing we get these cool headsets
I
on.
know. We can hear it. You can hear it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Now you can feel like you're part of Hunt Expo.
well, I've been to Coming Expo since year 2, and I've watched this morph. I've sat in the booth. I've watched it go from the pillows and the blankets and that to really seeing what's happening now. Is this really is focused on what the sportsmen want, and to see this a day like today, usually you had to wait till Saturday afternoon before you saw crowds like this, but they were waiting to get in this morning. So
Every day they do.
and apparently they're setting records on their auctions and everything else. So
Yep, it's good times. So, last question. Yesterday, and you guys were here for that as well. The Secretary of the Interior was here, and he signed a secretarial order. On big game corridors and winter range. Tell me, from your perspective, as a company, as somebody who's moving to Wyoming too, what does that mean for hunting, for conservation, for mule deer?
Sure, I think there's just a ton obviously going on, with Secretary Zinke and, with different conservation organizations and a lot of debates and a lot of different things out there. But it's great to see big wins like that there's just no argument about that's going to be incredibly helpful, for hunting in so many different ways and for habitats and different things. And so to have a Secretary of Interior that's in there, writing an order like that, being here last night,
Right.
as a keynote speaker. Not everybody may agree on every single little portion of it, but we got
Who
a
agrees
lot of
100%
people
with everybody all the
right
time anyway,
in some good places making some good decisions. And so I think for the future of hunting, it's vital. And so as far as Weatherby, that's one of the reasons we support Mule Deer Foundation. Is for efforts like that that are taking place even within the organization. Being this morning at the volunteer award breakfast and seeing really for me kind of being new and kind of the behind the scenes of Mule Deer Foundation, seeing the amount of people that are out there in their different areas, really, and the best screen was when you're giving the awards for the amount of volunteer hours per chapter. And if you add up that was thousands and thousands of hours.
The
of
top
people
chapter
putting in
was
there.
2,500
Volunteer hours.
Volunteer
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, as you said, if you added that up, you're talking multi-thousands. Probably not quite 10, but close.
Yeah.
It's impressive. That's a lot of time and effort giving back to conservation of mule deer. So
It is.
It's very neat. So thank you guys very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule, not just here on the floor. I understand that your daughter has a formal tonight, and you guys are here. That happens sometimes. I know that you kind of have to make.
She did not tell us the date of that until a couple weeks ago. So I was like, I'm sorry.
Can't be that. You know, these things happen. That's okay.
Yeah, my daughter has her dance recital tonight, so it's sort of cringing. But you know, we really look forward to you guys coming to Wyoming. Get out, in the western half of the state, there's some long-distance migrations of 150 miles or more. They're on public land. You can go visit them. It's really worth exploring. And, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
And we look forward to continuing to hear about the move and hearing great things from Weatherby. So.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
Good luck to you guys.
Jodi.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
us on.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for talking mule deer with Steve Belinda and Jodi Stemler. The Mule Deer Foundation is the only conservation group in North America dedicated to restoring, improving, and protecting mule deer and black-tailed deer and their habitat. MDF is a strong voice for hunters in access, wildlife management, and conservation policy issues. To find out more, visit www.muledeer.org and stay tuned for the next episode of Talkin' Mule Deer.